Had another rough conversation with the voices in your head. They said that love has shut the door on you, and you'd be better off instead. Girl, don't you listen. Your time is gonna come. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. Yeah. So when you gonna let somebody in? It's a classic situation where you don't know how to feel, so you go it alone. You turn off the phone when the struggle gets too real. Yeah. Girl, you better listen. It's time to make a change. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody in? Yeah, let 'em in. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody in? Let 'em in. Had another rough conversation with the voices in your head. They said that love has shut the door on you, and you'd be better off instead. Girl, don't you listen. Your time is gonna come. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. Yeah. So when you gonna let somebody in? It's a classic situation where you don't know how to feel, so you go it alone. You turn off the phone when the struggle gets too real. Yeah. Girl, you better listen. It's time to make a change. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win.
right, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Wednesday evening, broadcasting from the B-Level Entertainment Studios. I am your host, B-Level, and tonight you are listening to On the Level with B-Level, where we're talking to extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And tonight's guest, I'm going to bring up to the front line. Let me bring up my guest. I thought he was there. I don't know. Are you there? Swinton, are you there? Are you there? Come, Colin Swinton, Colin Coach Swinton, come to the front. He was there, y'all. I promise you. He's going to come on here in a minute. All right. So listen, On the Level with B-Level is where we specialize in having conversations with extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And while we wait on our guest tonight, he was there. I promise you, he was in the waiting room. I did actually talk to him. I don't know what went on, but maybe he will get his connection back right, and he will come back up front. Let me tell you what I need you guys to do. If you guys are coming on, I need you to share this live, and I need you to put shared in the comments. Okay, tonight, put shared in the comments. Also, if you could put at followers in the comments, and I will make sure that when we start doing comments, I will shout you out. But I need everybody that's on the live to please share the live. Okay, as we're waiting on our guest to come back, how are you guys midweek hump day doing? Let me see if I've got some people on here. I need y'all to put share so I can shout y'all out. What are y'all waiting on? Share this live, share. While we're waiting on the coach, okay, I was going to play this and then I was going to introduce him, but I am going to start off. My guest is actually Coach Reggie Swinton. I was going to introduce him. I'm going to wait till he come back. And so what I'm going to do until he's able to come back on with us, let me see if I text him and make sure he's not having any connection problems. I see Marquez TV is on here. What's up, homie? Graceful Conversation has just logged on. Yvette Shelton, I see you. Marquez, I appreciate you sharing it, bro. I appreciate you sharing it. I also appreciate you giving me a little love over. Y'all make sure y'all check out Marquez TV. He has his own podcast. Make sure y'all go over and check him out. He's doing live daily. Marquez TV is his Facebook name. Make sure y'all check him out because he's doing big things over there. J. Nicole Johnson is over there. I see Tam. Tam is on there saying, hey, y'all. Tam, please share the live. Let's see. Can you see me? No, I cannot. He asked me, can I see him? No, we cannot. Let me ask him to relog on. He just asked me to relog on. Swinton, if you hear me, please relog on. We cannot see you. Take your video off mute and then I see you. I hear you, Swinton, but we can't see you. So go ahead and relog on and try all the way to go back out and come back in, Swinton. Can you hear me, Swinton Town? Okay. Yeah, try to get your connection right. While he's trying to get his connection right, I'm going to play this run out video. I actually attended his first, which is Jacksonville Tidings' first home game. Okay, let me take that up. That's annoying. Later will come back on. I guess about 3 weeks ago, when I knew that Swinton was going to be on the podcast, I went and I attended his first home game at Jacksonville High School down in Jacksonville. He is the brand new coach, the first year coach out there. And I went and I actually got to see. There he goes. That's that. Swintown. There you go, man. I can see you now. Can you hear me? I can see you, but I can't hear you. Turn your microphones on. See if your microphones will work now. Because I can see you, but I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. I can hear you and see you fine when you tested it earlier. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, no, I can't I know you can't hear me. I can't hear you either. Trying to get it right, giving him an opportunity to get it right. Y'all, as you see, Swid, we're having some technical difficulties. But hopefully he was sounding all just great. Swin, why don't you just do it from your phone? Put your phone on Do Not Disturb if you can't get that right and just log in from your phone. I don't know if you guys knew that Swinton.
No, because I've been talking to him.
There it is. There it is. I can hear that, Swinton.
One,
Now, can you hear
two.
me? I can hear you now. Can you not hear me? Swinton.
Right, and just log in from your phone.
All right.
Okay. All right. All right. So we're going to let him come back out, go back out, and come back in. While he's going, I'm going to go ahead and play this first run out video that I was planning on playing when he come in. We're going to waste some time, wait on him to come back in. So I'm going to play this run out video. And I filmed this myself about 3 weeks ago when I went to see Swinton coach his first home game at Jacksonville High School. Here it goes. All right, so there it was, Swinton. Now you just missed it. Can you hear me fine now?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
what I can hear you great. Now, what I just played while I was waiting on you to get back on, but while I was waiting, I was wasting time, and I actually played some footage that I got when I attended your first home game that you coached down at Jacksonville. It was the run out of the players on the field. I'm going to take it all the way back, but my first question that I want to ask you: how did you feel running out on the field for the first time in your brand new job and your that immaculate, awesome football stadium that y'all got down there in Jacksonville?
It's crazy, man, because it took me back to the feeling of me coming out of Cowboy Stadium my first time when I made the Cowboys team, man. You know, when you coaching, it kind of puts you back into the mind frame that you're playing again. And so for me, I know I'm coaching now. I'm too old to play. But in order for me to be successful, man, I got to put myself into that playing mind frame. And so coming up out of that tunnel, man, with those players was an awesome feeling.
Well, before we get too far on, I do want to start off by introducing you. I played that and we kind of started a little bit backwards, but I do want to introduce you first, okay? Here's your bio, okay? This guy is a former podcaster. I didn't know that until we talked just a minute ago. He also attended Central High School. He is a graduate of Murray State University. He played in the Canadian Football League. He played for the Arkansas Twisters and the AF2. He played in the NFL under several teams, including the Dallas Cowboys. While he was with Dallas Cowboys in 2002, he broke the Dallas Cowboys franchise record with 231 kickoff return yards. He has been inducted into the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's married to his wife, Patricia. He has 4 children. Please welcome to the On the Level with B-Level podcast, coach of the Jacksonville Titans high school football team, Coach Reggie Swinton. Man, did I do you good on that introduction, bro?
Man, that was pretty cool, man.
Man, I tried. Cool. I wanted to make sure I do you well, man. Let me just tell you this before we start this conversation. I want to tell you that I started this promotion called On the Level with B-Level, where I have conversation with extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And let me just tell you, man, I'm a big fan of yours. I have been for a while. We're going to get into some of your accolades and everything that you've gotten yourself involved. And I know I just introduced you professionally, but I always start every conversation, because I don't have interviews, I have conversations. So I always start every conversation with asking all of my guests, in a nutshell, who is Reggie Swinton?
Wow, man. It's a lot behind that question, man. But I'm a regular guy that just happened to, be from Little Rock, and I was able to, become successful at my profession. Although it took a while, I was able to do that. And then when I got done, I tried to come back home and, put myself into the community, into the kids, and to helping other people, man. So I'm a regular old guy that I just happen to be blessed to make it in my profession. So many people they reach out for those goals and they don't make it. And some people quit too early. But I'm a guy that, I'm tenacious, man. I go after what I want, and if I see something, I kind of, I go get it. And like Lil Flip said, if you see it, want it, buy it, own it. That's really was my career, man. And so I don't accept the word no at all. I'm gonna make you change your mind at some point in time.
Well, let's take it all the way back to young Reggie Swinton, man. I know that you've been successful as an adult. Let's go all the way back. I want to talk about your parents. That's the first thing, and then I want to get into siblings that you had. But just talk a little bit about your parents, who are responsible for raising Reggie Swinton.
It's a lot, man. So my mom and dad always been there, man. My mom is a warrior. She beat cancer 4 times. She's still living. My dad is struggling with his health right now, but he's always been there in my life. And so I've had that foundation, but also, my stepdad, he's been there since I was 11 years old. And he's been a very instrumental part in my life and my success. And then I can't forget my uncles, man. I got uncles that when these kids these days say, I don't have anybody there for me, I don't have that story because I had a gang of men that was able to keep me in that circle and keep me right with a loving and praying mother and grandmother and family, man. So I don't have that story of I didn't have anybody there for me. Ever since I started playing any activity, I've always had somebody there for me. Even when I got to junior high, high school, college, many of my teammates was saying how blessed I was to have people to come drive 5 hours every weekend. So I had no choice but to be successful because of my backing.
Do you have anything on? I'm still getting a lot of feedback. You're still on that other. Did you get out of that first live? Because I'm seeing you still up here. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Okay, maybe let me see. Yeah, I'm still getting a lot of feedback, and I don't know where the feedback is coming. Do you have? You don't have the podcast on your phone and on another, because sometimes that will give us some feedback as well.
No, it's staticky. The other one is off.
You can hear it now? The static?
Yeah, I can hear the static. Let me go out and come right back in.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure that we get this right. Yeah, it's on his end because now I'm talking and we don't hear the static. So whatever static issues we have is on here. I hear that. Let me go ahead and read some comments here. Marquez TV is saying, thank you, B, for the shout out, the support and love. Crystal Caffey is saying welcome. Let me see. Let me get him back in here.
No,
all right. Yeah, still staticking. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try one more thing.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Take your time. I'll read comments until you get back. All right. So Crystal Morant is giving the love symbol, and Shannon Smith is saying, "What's up, Coach?" She's saying, "What's up, Coach?" So. All right, so I don't know if that's he's wanting to come back in with that. That's an old one. All right, so hey, while we're waiting on Coach Swinton to get back in, please, I need everyone. Shannon, I need you to share the live. Crystal Morant, please share the live. Crystal Caffey, share it, and share it in the comments so that I know that you're sharing it. We'll try to get him back in. All right, Coach, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, that's better. That's better until we get some feedback. For right now, I think that's better. All right. So you talked about your mom and your dad. How many? I think I introduced. Did I introduce you right? You have 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
What's the ages of your kids?
They're 29, 27, 20, 26, and 23.
Man, you got some old killers, man. They grown.
Man, look, so 2 of them are, some people call step kids. I don't like to say step kids because I didn't pay no step bills. I didn't buy no step food. So
right.
So I met them when they were 4 and 2, and now they are 29 and 27.
That sounds better.
And then my first biological baby, he's 26, and then the youngest is 23. He's a student at UCA.
And then how long have you been married to Patricia?
For 20 years, been together for 25.
Big round of applause for 25 years, 20 years of marriage, but 25 years of being together, man. I certainly like Black Love. So I guess I want to start about back. We talked about your young age. Talk about. I know that you graduated Central. Did you play football at First Central?
Actually, I came to Central when they had a really, really good football team. Back then it wasn't ninth grade; it was just 10th grade.
Okay.
And so I came in when sophomores didn't play,
Okay.
and so I came in as a sophomore, and I actually played and I shined. And a lot of seniors didn't like it because they wasn't used to sophomores coming in and playing. But I mean, I could play, man. So I had 2 punt returns my sophomore year, and I made Super Sophomore Specialist of the Year and things of that nature. So my career started off great at Central.
What position did you play over at Central?
I was a kick returner, punt returner, and wide receiver.
Okay. Who was your coach over there at Central? Who did you play under?
Bernie Cox.
Bernie Cox, the old short Bernie Cox, the legend Bernie Cox.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
and then were you? I read somewhere that you got a full scholarship at Murray State, and you
No.
played. Okay, no, that's not correct.
No. So
Tell me how you got the Murray State then.
I'm gonna tell you the whole story, man. So actually, I was one of those guys, man. School was very hard to me. Things that come natural and easy to some people in school, those type of things came easy to me in sports. School was never easy to me, man. So I struggled, and so I ended up passing my ACT late. So I had Miami, Arkansas, Tulsa, Memphis State, Washington. All those schools were recruiting me, but I didn't pass my test in time, and so by the time I passed my test, it was too late, and so I had to walk on to Murray State. When I walked on as my true freshman year, I played, and I did. I played very, very well, and so going into right before Christmas break, I went to Houston Nut, and I said, "Hey, man, I can't afford second semester as a walk-on. I got to transfer back home to UAPB." Now I called this bluff, and I wasn't gonna go anywhere. But being that I had such a great, first year, he took somebody's scholarship and gave it to me the very next day. So when I came back second semester, I was on full scholarship.
All right, so I did read that you were under scholarship, but you walked on and then you took
Yeah,
somebody's scholarship.
yeah,
Okay. And then at some point in time, Houston left before you left. Did I read that correctly?
yes, indeed.
Okay. And what happened after Houston Nutt left there?
So a new coach came in, and I dare not say his name because he's not worthy of me saying his name. But he came in and he was trying to put his own footprint down. And so he and I did not get along from jump. The only game of my career I missed in college, he suspended me because he said I didn't celebrate after I scored a touchdown. I wasn't a team player, so he suspended me for that reason. Um, and so my junior season, which was Coach Nutt last year, I had 75 catches for over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. My senior season, I finished with 9 touchdowns, but only had 37 catches and I think 600 and some yards. So my production dropped tremendously. The mistake I made was I should have came out early after my junior season. That's when the New York Giants was really just all over me. And so at that time, at the end of that year, in Division One AA, which is now called FCS, I was number 3 in the nation as a wide receiver. It
Mm-hmm.
was Randy Moss. He was number 1. Dedrick Ward from Northern Iowa was number 2, and I was number
Mm-hmm.
three in the nation. Those guys came out. I went back. I should have came out, and I would have been probably a third or fourth round draft pick.
So in that question, in that challenges, you talked about you're the coach that you had a great relationship who you'd build some rapport with actually left, Coach Houston Nutt. What examples, what advice do you have to young people who are going into a college situation where them and the coach do not mesh? Do you suggest that they bail, get out of there? Do you suggest that they go to the transfer portal? Or do you suggest that they try to fight it out and try to win that coach over? What suggestions would you have to young players doing that, Coach?
Well, time is so different now, man, because kids can now get mad and leave and get more money when they leave. When I came out, if you transferred up, you had to sit out a year. And what I mean by transferring up, if you went from 1AA to 1A, like say I went from Murray State to Arkansas, I would have had to sit out for a whole year. Uh, But if you transfer down, you can go play immediately. Now it don't matter what level you go to, you can go play. So if you don't get along with a coach, he probably gonna take what he gave you. You want to leave, you just put your name in the portal and you run. Um, and that's something I don't really like the portal like everybody else like it. I think it's watering down football, and I think that it's not teaching kids how to work hard for something. If you sign your scholarship or your contract and you know you get there and you don't play your first year, you run. That's not teaching the kid how to work, man. So, you know, I'm for the portal, but I think it should be some stipulations around it.
What do you think? And while we're talking about just the portal and all those things, what's your opinion on NIL? Do you feel like NIL is good for kids? Do you feel like to make money? Some not NIL. You can sign NIL deal in high school now if you sign with an art, you know, an in-state
Certain
school.
states, yeah, yeah.
Do
Well, here's
you
the
feel
thing.
like that's something that's good for kids, for student athletes?
No, I don't like it. And here's what I think. Here's my opinion, and my opinion matters to me. I think if you sign a kid, say a kid signs with Arkansas, and they give him 200 grand, okay, for that first year. As I say, take 100,000 of that, you put that money up into a pot. That kid cannot touch that money until he graduates college. So if a kid goes through and he signs that deal, he gets 100K up front. The other 100K is there for when he graduates because all these kids think that money is going to last them, and it's not. You got millionaires that have big time contracts and money is gone in 2 or 3 years. These kids getting all this money without any financial backing. I mean, knowledge. They don't know what to do with. They come from broken homes. They come from not having much. And you giving a 17, 18-year-old kid $400,000. What do you think that's gonna happen?
Yeah,
What do you
they not
think?
gonna, yeah, with no
And
financial literacy.
and like even in the pros, you know, when I got my money, you know, they had seminars for us on Mondays after we got done watching film and conditioning, but that was optional. So guys like me that come from nothing and I got all this money right now, you know, I don't want to sit in there for somebody to tell me how to spend my money
Right.
because I was young and dumb and ignorant, but I wish I had done that. These kids right now are not going to do that, man. So I think it should be, and if a kid signs that deal and he goes in the portal, he should have to pay that money back before he goes in the portal. That's going to make these kids think twice about trying to leave somewhere just because they're not happy.
Right, right. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're talking to Coach Reggie Swinton of the Jacksonville Titan High School football coach. If you have questions for Coach, just put them in the comments. And as I'm seeing the questions come up, I'll try to work your question in. Okay, if you have questions for Coach Swinton, just put them in the comments, and I will try to work your questions in. Okay, Coach, we talked about college. Let's get into after you left college. Just kind of explain if you did you go to the Canadian League first? What happened after college?
So I didn't get drafted, so I signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 1998, and that's when the contract minimum salaries then was $168,000. And I remember
Okay.
I was sitting in my agent's office and I signed the contract. And at that time, I thought the money was guaranteed when I signed it. I cried like a baby, man, because I had never seen that number, a comma, and some more numbers. And so, but now, as we sit in 25, minimum salary for a first year player is 700,000. So look how big a jump that's going from 1998 to 2025.
Right.
But I went from the Jaguars and got cut, and then I went um, I went to the Canadian Football League. I signed with the Toronto Argonauts, and I got traded. And I found this out through the newspaper. No one ever called me and told me I got traded. I just read it. So I ended up in Winnipeg. I was in Winnipeg a little bit that year. I went on practice squad. Then Edmonton Eskimos picked me up. I was there about 4 weeks, and then I got cut. I came back home, and then I ended up getting drafted in the XFL by Las Vegas Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
I was in camp with Las Vegas Outlaws. I was the fastest receiver there, best receiver there. They ended up cutting me, so I come back home. Then I signed with the Seattle Seahawks in 2000. I went out there in camp, did well. I got cut last cut. Then I come back home again. I'm ready to quit. My dad tell me, "Don't quit, son. Keep going." I get with the Arkansas Twisters, the arena football team here. Initially, they cut me. Then I got me a job downtown. They called me back week 5. I went and played the last 12 games with them, and I ended up with 85 catches for 1,500 yards and 37 touchdowns. That's when the Cowboys came and got me from there. I was in Dallas 01, 02, then 03, fifth game of the season. They traded me to Green Bay. I was in Green Bay for about 10 days. Didn't like it. They didn't like me, so they cut me. I got picked up the next day by Detroit. I was in Detroit the rest of 03 and 04 during training camp. Detroit cut me, then brought me back the third game of the year. I had a good season there. I ended up doing well. And the season I became an unrestricted free agent. I signed with the Houston Texans. I was number 1 in the preseason in kick return and punt return. Still got cut. Ended up with the Cardinals in 2005. Second game of the year, I tore my ligament in my toe. Still played the whole season. And I didn't look as good as I looked before because I was hurt. And that wound up being my last year playing.
So with all of that going, you just ran through that. Actually, you were actually going through that. Did you feel like, what I'm hearing all of the time that you were at all of these different teams, you did really well, but you continued to get cut? How did that do with your, with your personality, your confidence? You talked about you wanted to quit. Your dad said, no, keep quitting. But after being cut so many times, what did that do for your confidence, Swint?
Well, it made me who I am today. Like I'm so tenacious, man. I'm so I don't understand the word no. No is not in my vocabulary. I go for what I want and I get it done, man. And so it taught me how to also deal with the youth and teach the kids the same thing, that no matter what happens in life, you keep going, because if you continue to knock on doors and you knock on doors, eventually a door gonna open. But if you quit knocking, that last door won't open for you. And so, it taught me to just continue to move and strive. And when you look at everything I've done since I've gotten done playing football, I've been through it. And a lot of people would have given up, but
Right.
I don't understand the word no. I don't understand what the word no means. All I know is to go get it.
Right. What did you learn, Swinton, Coach Swinton, from all of those years in the professional league in the NFL? What is, if you had to say, tell us one thing that you learned from playing in the league? What did you get out of all of that?
They don't care about you as
Other
a
than being tenacious.
they don't care about you as a person. It's what can you do for me now? I've seen so many guys that they came and go when they couldn't do what they had been doing for so long. They got rid of them. People used to wonder why come I used to go upstairs to the front office all the time, because I wanted to learn the business. Everybody can't be a Darren McFadden and be a first round pick,
Right.
and get the love that Darren got. Most people got to go through my shoes. And when
Right.
you look at it, man, teams are comprised of most of the guys that's fourth, fifth, sixth round guys and free agent guys.
Yeah.
So most teams are made up of my type of people.
Right.
But we're the type of people that get the short end of the stick, because we're not the market players. We're not the guys making the millions, but we're the guys that's making that wheel go round.
Right.
So, I learned that when they think you're done, they wipe their butt with you and kick
Right.
you out.
Right. Right. So, I was remembering you said that, the sign-on bonus for someone who's new in the league is $168,000. Obviously that's a lot of money to some, but you had to not have a full-time job to stay in shape, to be ready for, these teams when they got ready to call you, to be ready to go. So, in between you being in NFL, getting cut, were you able to save a lot of money? Or you made 168,000, or did they, when you cut it, did
No, I
that
didn't.
stop? So how were you financially when you were going through this struggle of trying to stay on somebody's roster? You couldn't really hold a full-time job because you had to stay in shape and work out.
Well,
And
here's
you
the
had
thing,
to be ready to call.
Well, when I got cut, So I signed the contract, but the contract wasn't guaranteed unless you. Well, I mean, it wasn't guaranteed. Period. The only thing that was guaranteed was the $5,000 signing bonus I got from the Jaguars, which they took 1,900. So I'm left with
Mm-hmm.
3,100. And at that time, I was, married, and so I sent that money back home to my then wife, so she could take care of what had to be taken care of back in Little Rock. So, and when you get cut, man, unless you into your fifth year, and I can get into details about that, if you're not a marquee player when you sign your contract, if you get cut, that contract get cut. So the only money that's guaranteed is what you already have in your account. Unless you make the roster into year 5. If you get to year number 5 and you make the opening day roster, then that year's salary is guaranteed. If they cut you after that, then that year's salary is guaranteed. That's why you'll see teams that, they'll have a veteran guy that's 5 or more years. They'll cut them right before the last cut. Then they'll bring them back week 2 because you didn't make the opening day roster. So when you come back week 2, if they don't like you, they can cut you. That salary ain't guaranteed.
How many years do you have to play in the league for you to be guaranteed pension, where you get a salary, a check from the NFL?
Now it used to be 4. I think it's 3 now, but I'm not sure. I know it's 4, but see, 3 games count as one full season. So if you're on a team roster for the first 3 weeks of the season, that's considered a season,
Okay.
right? So it's been many a guys that has been in the league. They've been on one team for 2 years, and they're starting their 3rd year, and they get to week 2, and that team don't see you in their plans. They'll cut you. So
Right.
now you're one game short. You're one game. I mean, into your 3rd year, into your 4th year. Now you're one game short of getting your full pension. And I
Okay.
know a couple of guys who just needed one game
And got
because what
cut.
happened is the last team you play with, like say you play for 6 teams, the
Okay.
last team you play with, that's the team that owes you all the money you made in your career for your pension. That's why you see guys like Emmitt Smith who play for the Cardinals. Then he'll go back and he'll sign a one-day contract with the Cowboys so he can retire a Cowboy because that's who owes you.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. So we've kind of covered, college. We talked about the NFL. We talked about twisters. We talked about contracts. When you came back home to Arkansas after all of that NFL professional, whether it be in the CFA league or whatever, what did you do? I know that you started coaching young kids, correct, with your organization.
Right. Well, no, that didn't start immediately.
Okay.
Excuse me. Like I said earlier, I didn't take advantage of a lot of things, and one being the financial literacy that they offered us. 2 being I wasn't very, very smart with the money I made. Now, no, I'll say this. I didn't make a lot of money when I played. I didn't. And so you look at guys like, what I made in 5 years, some guys making one paycheck, which sounds crazy. But what I made in 5 years, some guys making one paycheck. And so the off season is long. It's 8 months. The
Right.
NBA off season is 3 months. The
Right.
NFL off season is 8 months. And so if you don't make the playoffs and get that playoff check, get that Super Bowl check, that Pro Bowl check, your season ends in December. And you got to go
Okay.
January through September before you get another real check. And if you don't understand budgeting and how to manage your money, I mean, I can go back and recall my very first year when I was making 7,500 a week. I thought that was living. And when it came down, and when the season ended in December, and it's the off season, and we're in like May or June, and I'm having to call my agent to get an advancement from a bank to get me over to the next season. But again, I wasn't the only one. It's a
Right.
lot of players, and there's players making 60 and 70 and 80,000 a week that can't manage their money in the off season
Wow.
because they do too much during the season. Oh man, I could tell you stories of guys on plane rides, man. They're playing tunk for 1,000 a hand,
Right.
5,000 a hand.
Right.
Guys coming on plane rides, man, with briefcases full of money, man, $10,000, 100,000 on the plane ride just to gamble it away on the plane. Then you wonder how could a guy go broke? That's how.
Making bad money decisions. All
Yeah.
right, so talk about coming back, Carl, and starting, even though you didn't start your own organization right away, going to coaching young kids. How did you make that transition, and how did that happen when you came
Well,
back?
I first started at Arkansas Baptist College. Their first year of existence in football in '07. Dr. Coach Fitzhill, he asked me to come over there and be the wide receiver and special teams coach for them. So that's where my coaching career started.
Okay.
I was there for 1 year, and then I remember I got a phone call from Coach Houston Nutt, who was at Fayetteville then, and he was wanting me to come and finish my degree in Fayetteville and be a GA assistant and also be a coach. And I remember telling him back then, I said, Coach, I said, one of these days my boy's going to be in high school. And I want to be able on Friday nights to go watch my kids play and not go watch somebody else's kids play and miss my kids. And so I made that choice to make sure I was there for my boys. So during that time, of course, my kids were starting to play football, and so I was trying to be a parent. I wasn't trying to be a coach.
Right.
I had lost everything, man. I had lost so much weight. Life was hard for me at that point. So I wanted to just go be a parent and sit in them stands, watch my kids, and go home.
Mhm.
But the coach for the Grizzlies named Coach Wu. Coach Wu said, man, come out here and coach me. He said, man, these kids need your knowledge. Come out here and coach. I didn't want to, but he was like, sitting on the sideline, you ain't helping these kids with what you learned. And so at that point, I became a coach for the Grizzlies, and that was in 2010.
Okay.
All along, I was still now at this time I'm coaching at Pulaski Heights Middle School too as a volunteer because my oldest son played there.
Right.
So I'm going to two practices in one day. And as I started to get more involved, I was like, you know what? If you want things done your way, you got to start your own program. I started my own program in 23, and my goal was to improve youth football in Arkansas and improve kids being recruited. I had no idea that my vision in 2013 would be where it is now. The Lord,
So when you say young kid, what age were you in your own organization in youth football? What age was in your organization?
5 through 12, 5 through
Okay.
12, the Arkansas Lions. We started out our first year. We went to Atlanta and played Dion's team, The Truth, with
Okay.
Shador quarterbacking, and they beat us badly. But
Okay.
that was in 2013. We met them
Okay.
again in 2017 in Texarkana, but this time we won. So I got my lick back on Prime. Um, but just to see the growth and the maturation of my program, I'm extremely proud of that. So I can say right now, as we sit here on this Wednesday night from our Arkansas Lions program, there's 19 kids playing college football, and there's 12 high school kids currently right now with offers. So
Wait,
it,
well, we got a round of applause. Big round of applause for that, man. We can't let that go unnoticed. Big round of applause for that. Big round of applause. Go ahead. That's why I'm a fan of yours right there because of stuff like that. But go ahead, finish what you were saying.
and you was in my office, B. You saw all them kids, pictures I got on my wall. Every
Yeah.
kid on that wall is playing football currently right now, except my son, who's a student at UCA, but he played at Jackson for Coach Prime. But like this past Saturday, man, I sat here in my house. We played Friday night.
Okay.
This past Saturday was a rare day where I just didn't do anything, but I sat here and I watched football, man. And to see the amount of my kids I coached from my program play on my TV,
Right.
and that made everything I do worthwhile.
Right.
And I could pick that phone up and call every single kid that I had on my program, and even the kids who ain't playing football, the kids in the military. I've got kids in medical school, and I
Right.
can pick up my phone and call every single kid that 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 I've been in contact with, since then.
Right. Right.
And so that's why I do it, man. I do it for the kids' future because I know what the sport can do. See, my wife is education wise. She's smart. She can teach kids about a lot of things. I can't teach kids what she can, but she can't teach kids what I can. So I stay
Right.
in my lane, right?
Right.
So I know that my way to help any kid, I don't say a young black kid, I say a kid because I don't look at it as let me just help these black kids, or let me just.
Right.
I want to help all these kids become successful because when you die, B level, God is not going to ask what kind of car you had or what kind of
Right.
money you had or how
Right.
big was your house. He wants to know what did you do for my children while you was here on this earth.
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
want to make sure that when they lay me down in that casket, them kids can stand over me and say, "Thank you, Coach Reggie, for what you did in my life."
So we talked about Arkansas Lightning, your organization. I want to fast forward, progress this conversation into was Forest City your first high school coaching job from coaching the Arkansas Lightning? Was that your first opportunity to get in high school coaching as a head
The
coach?
Arkansas, the Arkansas Lions, yes,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's talk about when you got the call to come down to Forest City to coach that. What were you doing when you got the call that somebody wanted the AD or whoever called you that wanted you to go down to Forest City and take over their program?
Well, the first phone call I got was from Pine Bluff legend Carl Kidd. Carl Kidd
Okay.
played for the Raiders. He played for I think the Razorbacks and UAPB. But Carl Kidd, he's frat brothers with the principal in Forest City. They are
Okay.
members of Omega Psi Phi. And so
Okay.
Carl Kidd said that they had reached out to him about coaching, but Carl coaches middle school ball. He ain't trying to leave what he got, so he recommended me. That's how
Okay.
it started. I had just got turned down by Little Rock Central and Southwest,
Okay.
and I had just applied for the job in Malvern and Star City, and Watson Chapel during this time. So when I got the phone call from Carl Kidd, he said, "Hey, take this number down and call this principal tomorrow." And I said, "No." Nah. I said, "If they want me, man, they'll call me because I ain't finna keep chasing this. If it's for me, it's for me."
Right.
Well, the following day, I was sitting here in my house, and the principal called me, but I didn't know who it was initially when he called me. So we're talking. He's talking a really good. I mean, great conversation. And I had been through this with a couple of schools, so I was like, first of all, who is this calling me? This is the true story.
Okay.
He said, "It's the principal." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, let's talk." Right.
Mhm.
So we talked, and he was like, "Hey, man, go in there and apply. We want to talk to you." So I applied for it. That so he called me on a Friday. I applied for it on Monday. They called me on Thursday to interview me on the following Thursday. Now I thought I would be driving into Forest City for the interview. It was by Zoom. So I got dressed up for it. It was the principal, the AD, and the superintendent.
Mhm.
And when I tell you that I knocked it out, bro, to have never interviewed for a job and to interview for my first job, they couldn't do nothing but say, "He's our guy."
Okay.
And so they called me the following day and they asked me what I wanted my salary to be. And I told them, a number I was thinking. And it
Okay.
was actually like 8,000 more than what I had said.
Okay.
And so I told my wife that we're going to, Forest City. And so,
So yeah, go ahead and talk. Go ahead and finish talking because I got some questions about that.
yeah. And so, she's just supportive, man. Like if I say, let's go to New York, she pack it up and she leaving.
Right.
And so she wanted to make sure she had a job down there. So I got her a job down there as well. If you don't want me if you don't want my wife.
Right.
And that's how it was in Jacksonville. If you want me, you want my wife. And so I got her a job down there. And man, for the most part, man, I I love the city of Forest City. I love the people in Forest City. And I miss the kids in Forest. I really, really do miss the kids in Forest City.
So did you guys move down there? Did you just did you go, did you drive every day? Tell me about so where do you move in Forest City?
So that was the plan. The plan was to move,
Okay.
but we couldn't find anything there. And it's not to say anything bad about Forest City. We just didn't find anything there that we liked, that we were comfortable with. So we made that drive every single day for 13
Wow.
months. And there's, a 3 hour drive total there in the back. So hour and a half drive. And we ended up spending 1,000 a month in gas. And it was
So Reggie, y'all drove. How long of a drive is it down to Forest City? An hour and a
hour
half?
and a half. From where
Hour
I
and a
live,
half
hour
there.
and a half.
So what time were you leaving to go to work every day? 5?
We was leaving at 6:15, and during football season, we got home at like 8:30 or 9 every night.
And then at 8:39, you going to sleep? and you getting back up.
Yeah.
You getting back up at the crack of dawn to go back.
And here's the crazy part. When I got hired by Forest City, man, I was hitting them weights heavily, right before then. Man, I was big, bulk, man, lost my stomach. But on that road every day, man, you can't lift this heavy. You can't do what you want to do. You're eating fast foods all the time.
Right.
And I'm like, my grandbaby said, G. Paul, you pregnant, Uh, and, hey, and when I tell you, man, that really broke me down, bro.
Yeah.
I said, God, I looked at myself in the mirror sideways and I said, she ain't lying.
Well,
But
let me read one of these comments. Monty Wilson said, Reggie Swinton, I salute you. 3 generations going through the Arkansas lines with the motions. Hashtag Wilson boys.
Monte, yeah.
Yeah, Monte say, look out, bruh. And Mike Nichols is saying, damn, dude, oh. Mike's on your staff, isn't he?
Mike been with me every year I've coached. I had my Lions football program. Mike was the first coach I got with me. When I got to Forest City, he was the first coach I hired. And I got to Jacksonville, he was the first coach I brought in.
So you're at Forest City. You're going back and forth every day. How does this opportunity and this conversation happen with Jacksonville while you're in Forest City? You haven't even completed a full season there.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. So, and I like to keep it real and keep it candid, but I'm going to keep it respectful too. I gave everything I had to Forest City. When I tell you everything I had, I gave them everything I had. But sometimes people don't appreciate your efforts, right? And so as I sit here, I was doing things right by the kids. The Thursday I got the phone call from Jacksonville. I was sitting here at my house. I was suspended from Forest City. I was on my second day of suspension from Forest City for really doing the right thing. They just didn't like what I did. So I got the phone call.
So wait a minute, you've been suspended in the first year you got on the job, Reggie. You've been suspended already. You've been suspended twice. Okay, so this was your second suspension. Second day, you get a call from Jacksonville. Who is that call from, and how does that call go?
The AD calls me, so I'm sitting here. I'm depressed because it's during spring ball in Forest City. We're supposed to be on the field practicing. Here I am, the head coach, and I can't be there. So I'm really depressed. It's 6:13, the Thursday before Mother's Day. I get the phone call, and I'm blind. I can't see, so I sit directly in front of my TV. Like as close as I am to me and my phone, is how I sit to my TV.
Okay.
I ain't wearing my glasses. So I'm sitting and the phone rings. It's like, is this Coach Swinton? And I'm like, yeah. Well, this is Barry Hickenbotham. I'm the AD down here in Jacksonville, yada, yada, yada. Are you looking to get back home? I'm thinking there's a prank call because I've never heard of Coach Barry Hickenbotham.
Right.
It's May. You don't hire a coach in May. Coaches are hired in January, February, December.
Right.
So I say, man, who is this prank calling me? This is a true story. Who is this prank calling you? He's like, no, coach. No, this is the AD in Jacksonville, and we're looking for a coach. And I said, what happened? Did Coach quit? He said, yeah, he quit, and we're trying to find a coach, and and your name came up. Here's where I was confused because I was thinking about the kids, not how I was being treated, but the kids in Forest City versus now starting over. Not the drive. I'm not worried about the drive, the losing the money. I'm worried about the kids in Forest City. They have gone through so many coaching changes.
Right.
And do I want to leave these kids after just one season?
Right.
But then after consulting with my uncle, another friend, and my wife, this and that, and they said, if you stay there, you're going to continue to get treated badly. Your love for the kids ain't going to change, but you can't sacrifice your career for the love of kids when people there don't appreciate your efforts and what you're doing for the kids. And so let me give you a sign, and this is going to be funny, B. So that Friday night was my daughter's baccalaureate from Philander.
Okay.
We had the baccalaureate, and you got to hear this story because it's
Take
weird.
your time. We got time.
Okay, it's weird. So we're sitting in baccalaureate, and the guest speaker is from Detroit, and he said something like, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, If you feel like you're somewhere, you're not being treated right, and an opportunity comes, it's time for you to go. And I'm like, is this dude talking to me? Right. That's one
Right.
part. So then I log on to Facebook, and the first thing I see on one of my pages is Jacksonville's logo on the football field. My ex-line kids had a track meet out there, they're in Jacksonville, and I'm seeing this logo. Pause for a second. I'm gonna go back a night. The night before, I prayed for a sign. I said, Lord, just show me a sign of what I should do. Just please give me
Okay.
a sign. The first sign that I got was that preacher saying that. The second
Okay.
sign was the Jacksonville football field. I go off their Facebook page, go to my other page, and I see Lamar Reddy with some kids with a Jacksonville Titan logo. This logo right here on a
Okay.
white shirt. I said, hold on, man. So then I go by that Sunday, Mother's Day, no, that Saturday, and I go by to visit the school. And I go by and visit, and I leave. My uncle is with me. I forgot a part. Hold on. Friday night, no, Saturday, after we left back to Laurel on Saturday, me and my wife was at the outlet mall, the one over here off of 30.
Okay.
And she's going in trying to find a gift for my daughter, for my son's baby shower that very same day. A lot happened that Friday and Saturday. So I park her to a parking spot, and I look at my rearview mirror, and I see a truck behind me. What kind of truck? A Titan truck. I said, okay, right? True, a very true story. So she
Okay.
comes out of the store. We leave. That truck is still parked there behind me. I turn right. I'm going to get onto the access road. I come to that stop sign. A truck that was in front of me was another white Titan truck, right? So I'm like,
Okay.
hold on. So then that evening when me and my uncle got to Jacksonville and we toured and saw everything, when he and I was leaving, going back to his house where I parked, we get behind this big 18-wheeler. The 18-wheeler, the back of it said Titan. I said, hold on, Lord, you're talking too loud now. The last sign for me to say yes is we got to my uncle's neighborhood, and there was a whole bunch of little signs in this woman's yard. And out of all the signs I seen, only one sign stood up and out, and it said Titan. And I said, Uncle, look at that sign. And he said, nephew, God talking to you. And at that point, I knew that if the job was offered, I was going to take it.
You got better facilities compared from Forest City to Jacksonville. I done been in your office. You got a big corner. I'm just telling y'all, Reggie Swinton got a big old corner office with some big old windows showing the view of this brand. How old is that stadium in Jacksonville? How old is it? Do you know?
7 years.
7 years, immaculate stadium. So the facilities are better. I'm assuming your assistant coach, you had him to show me and the other friends the tour, and he told us this how state of the art that your weight room was, but we didn't get a chance to go in there.
Yeah.
So you've got better facilities. I don't know, how was the money in Jacksonville compared to Forest City? Was it the same money? Was it more money? Was it less money?
I get a little bit more money.
Okay, more money, better facilities. So you're having this hang up about leaving these kids because you've promised these kids that you're going to make them better. I seen that you were out there. I seen that you were filming everything. You were doing the Coach Prime thing, putting social media in. I was able to get a glimpse of what the Forest City coaching job looked like for you in Little Rock because you kept a camera on the field. So when do you go? When is the job accepted to you? And then when do you put in your resignation? And how was your conversation with those kids to tell them, I've only been here for 3-4 months. I'm getting ready to leave?
Well, and that was the hard part. So I interviewed, and on a Thursday.
Okay.
The board meeting was not going to be until that Tuesday night. No, that Monday night.
Okay.
So here it is, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I get a phone call on Friday morning that says, we're offering you the job to be Jacksonville's next head coach. And I didn't know what to think because now my mind went to thank you, God, for the opportunity that somebody is seeing my talent. But number two, man, I'm all about my Forest City kids. And so now my mind went from being happy to crying. So now I'm happy on one end, but I'm crying because I've become the uncle or the daddy to a lot of those kids in Forest City. There was a couple kids in Forest City who was in trouble, and I was trying to be there for them to keep them out of trouble. But now, my mission was complete there according to the Lord. And so here it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and word is starting to get out a little bit from people in Jacksonville. So my plan was to wait till the board meeting on Monday night to come in Tuesday and tell my kids. Here was the hard part for me, B level. We got spring practice on Monday and Tuesday. So I got to go in here and go through spring practice as if nothing was going on. I'm in here practicing with these kids on Monday, knowing I ain't going to be there. But we got to have practice. What do I do? Right. And so I'm sitting there in practice, and I'm coaching my ass off that Monday. You wouldn't be able to tell I wasn't going to be there if you saw me coaching that day. Right. But then word had got out. And so I talked to a couple of players about, hey, this what's going on, and I'm not going to be here anymore, and so I'm going to have a meeting. Well, it turns out that meeting happened to be that Monday before the board meeting because word had gotten out. So I actually videoed that meeting, but I never put it out. I never showed it to anybody. And it was so hurtful for me to look them kids in the eyes after I had just told them I would be there because, see, two other schools have reached out to me in December. And I won't say those schools' names. Right. But they reached out to me in December, and I turned them down. And I wouldn't have even left had I not been suspended B level. I would have never even entertained Jacksonville because I knew what type of team I had coming back in Forest City. But God do things for a reason, bro. He knew you've done your job here. I sent you here. You were faithful. You drove every day. You showed me what you wanted. Now it's time to elevate you. But I would have been disobedient by saying, you know what? Winning trumps everything. Let me stay in Forest City. Right. So what he did was he allowed something very small to suspend me. No other district on this earth would have suspended me for what I got suspended for. But I got suspended and I was at home and that phone call came through and it made me think. Because I'm loyal, bro. I'm loyal to what I start. And I knew I had a great team coming back this year, man. And we was going to have a chance to win state.
Let me ask you, did you cry?
Yes.
When you told those boys you had to leave, you cried?
I teared up. I voted. So I looked over top of their heads rather than making eye contact.
Right.
Because I knew the puppy look, and I knew so many of those kids love me, man. So many. And the crazy part about this, man, when me and my wife went back to a Forest City game last month, their first game against Earl, we went to the game on a Thursday night because we played that following night, the Friday night against Central. When me and my wife walked in that stadium and we sat up there, the amount of regular students that came to me and my wife and greeted us and hugged us, and the teachers and the parents, man, it was like we've done our job in Forest City. Right. And those people know it and those kids know it. But I have love for Forest City. I just don't really care about the people at the top.
How long were you from start to finish? How long were you in Forest City? How many months?
13.
13 months. All right. Let me read some of these comments and we'll go. CC is saying our favorite. He had a hell of a team, and my son is one of the ones that was up under him. Robert Jackson, 10th grader, starting quarterback. He was for North Little Rock varsity. We love us some Reggie Swinton. He still checks on my son and motivates him to this very day. They steal his babies. Monty also said, B-Level been doing it for a long time. Thank you. He also says, great interview. Thank you, Monty. He also says, Reggie, thank you for saving a grown man. Love you, bro. So you leave Forest City, start at Jacksonville. Okay. I was there, and one of the reasons why I wanted to support you, I knew that I was going to ask you to be on the platform, but I wanted to come and see how you interacted with those kids. Those kids have great love for you. I actually put your name in TikTok, and I found this video, and then this gonna prove why these kids love you. I'm gonna pray this, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it. Swin, hold on.
What is it?
Now, I don't know how much of the rapping. I don't know if we're going to sign you to no 380 deal on no rapping. But that goes to show the rapport that you have with these kids. Reggie, do you feel like it's more important for coaches these days to have a rapport with the kids that they coach? None of these old-time football coaches that don't hug the kids, don't interact with them, don't play with them. It's time out for the old Bernie Cox. Like, you got to have coaches that relate to the kids. How important is it to be able to relate to these kids to get them to come play the best for you?
Kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's one thing I learned from my little league football coach, Gary Gilmore, and from Houston Nutt, is that when you show kids love, kids, a lot of these kids come from a background where it's a lot of arguing and hate and bickering and fighting. And a lot of these kids don't even have a male figure in their life. And I told you earlier, I had several that got me in that circle and loved on me. And so I learned how to love kids a long time ago. And so a lot of these coaches, they coach for a ring. I don't coach for a ring, although I want to win one. I coach for the kids' dreams. I want to see these kids play at any level of college football. Or if not, I want to see these kids have a successful life. And so in between all of that is love. And you look at all my line kids, like Cece said, Robert don't play for me, but me and Robert still talk because he's been with me since he was 5 years old. And I love that boy. But I love all of my kids.
Right.
All my kids. Back at my old house, it was a weekend where the kids were just at my house,
Right.
And I would rather those kids be with me than on the streets or doing something stupid. And since my program has started in 2013, I've lost 6 kids to either murder or, a death. And that hurts, man. So, but, when people say, well, if I could just save one kid, my job is done. No, your job ain't done. Is if you got 40 kids, your job is to try to save all 40 kids, not just one. You save one kid, then 39 kids go astray. What about those 39 kids you let go astray? Love on all the kids. And so the kids play hard for me because they know I love them, and they don't want to let me down.
Right.
I coach these kids hard. I fuss at them. I yell at them and everything, but they know it comes from a place of love, not a place of vindication.
Right. Let me read some of these comments. Monty said, Reggie Swinton, know this. I know I was out of line, but you taught my kids to be humble. Hashtag Lions House. He also said Swintown Classic. CC says, let's see what put CC's stuff. The anointing of his on his life for what he does can't be stopped. Swinton, Monty said classic B level. Thank you, sir. He said, he also says hashtag Lions, LOL Lions made those rings. Let me ask you this, Reggie. When you are trying to convince a parent to send their kid and let you play for them, because now high school, they come to you in the 9th grade. So for 4 years now, what do you say to a parents who are worried? They're trying to decide which high school they want to go to. What do you tell a parent that you're trying to convince to send your kid to Jacksonville, what promises will you make a parent as it relates to growing their kids up, turning their kids from a young man to a young adult?
Well, I can't say anything to them because that's recruiting. So,
Okay.
I can't talk to the kids or coach them until they show up at
Okay.
Jacksonville campus
Okay.
the right way. And so I think the benefit and all that is that um, I don't have to recruit a kid because my work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And when parents see me going out my way to help get a kid to college, um, and where they want to go or where they thought about going, they don't see that happening. It makes them think twice about where they want to go. So, no, I mean it's illegal, and that's part of what happened on my first suspension in Forest Field when I didn't know the rules. I just didn't know the
Okay.
rules,
Right.
and so I broke a rule, and that's why I got suspended. But again, I come from coaching 10-year-old kids, so I
Right.
never been a high school coach, never had to know the rules. So
Right.
the rule that I broke, I didn't know I broke it because I was new, and so I learned from my mistakes.
How important is winning in your field, being a high school coach? Is how important is having a winning program? How important
It,
is that?
it's very important because when you get, as I always say, when you're used to losing, you're used to losing. But also when you're used to winning, you're used to winning. And when you win at this level, when you get done with high school, that competitive winning edge stays in your mind, and you want to win everywhere you go. And so if you lose your whole career, your mind can revert back to quitting. Man, this is man, we're gonna lose. I ain't gonna get this job, so why should I even apply for it?
Right.
So losing sticks to you, but winning also sticks to you.
When you took the job, how well did Jacksonville do you last year? On the past years, what was your winning record before you came there?
Jacksonville was 1-9 last year. They hadn't won but 6 games, I believe, in the last 6 years. They haven't had a winning record. Like right now, we're 2-1. They haven't gone 2-1 since 2018, and the last time before that was 2012.
What do you think is what are the reason why? What do you think is the reason why? Just so already that you guys have won, that you've turned not all the way around, but you have they can see a change. What do you think is the reason why the change now? Why are you guys 2-1 this year when they've never been 2-1 before?
And we should be 3-0. You saw the first game.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but it's the same thing I did in Forest City. Again, kids don't care how much you know, so kids know that you care. Number two, I don't care how much talent you have in your locker room. If you don't build a locker room of cohesiveness, if you don't build a locker room of character and a culture that's a winning culture, and you have to speak life into these kids. You have to speak winning into the kids. You can't go in there saying, I hope we're going to win. When Forest City interviewed me, Forest City had won, but I think 4 games in 4 years.
okay.
We made the playoffs our first year. But when they interviewed me, I told them this was before I even met one kid because I believe in me. I told them on the interview, I said, we're going to make the playoffs this year. All three of them gave me a look like, yeah, right. What happened? We made the playoffs about very first year as a high school coach. When Jacksonville sat me down in the interview and I told Dr. Orr and everybody there, I said, we're going to the playoffs this year. I'm not hoping we're going. I'm telling y'all, I believe in me. We're going to the playoffs this year. And from day one, when I met with those kids, I spoke life. I spoke playoffs. I spoke winning. I spoke everything into those kids. Not to mention, I got a good coaching staff. And so when those kids started hearing the same thing over, we're going to win, we're going to win, we're going to win. They believe we're going to win. Broadway Joe told me this. He said, when we got down against Malvern, he said, last year's kids would have quit, being down 20-6 at halftime. We came
Hmm.
back, almost won that game. We don't, these kids, every game we played in, all four of them has come down to the last drive. But now
Y'all
they
were in the
believe they
game
can
now.
win
Yeah.
because we have put life into them kids. When you speak life into the kids or anything, it's going to prosper because you're speaking positivity into it.
Coach Swinton, what is your dream job?
I have it.
Do you have any desire to coach in college?
That's a good question. I'll say this. My son, little Reggie, about 5 years ago, he said, "Dad, you've done all you can do in Little League football. Coach high school." I said, "Nah, I don't want to do high school." But I didn't know what God had planned. God had this plan, but my son spoke it into existence. And now that I'm doing well, you know, I was up for Coach of the Year last year. Like I was up for Coach of the Year in the state last year. And my son said last year, like, "Dad, you should go do college." I said, "Son, I'm not ready for college, but who knows what's going to happen." All I know is right now, I'm very grateful for Coach Hickenbotham, for Dr. Orr, who's our superintendent, and our principal, Miss Mims, and Chris Odom, our police officer at Jacksonville, who was on the panel that interviewed me. They all wanted me, and I'm thankful for this job. I'm not looking forward to another job, but I can say this. If you when you win, people are going to come after you. And I think what Dion did at Jackson State as a former player,
Right.
I think what Reggie Barlow at Tennessee State is doing. He's my old teammate. What Eddie George did at TSU,
Right.
what Michael Vick is doing at Norfolk State, and what Deshaun Jackson doing at Delaware State. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody come calling. But I gotta be. Money ain't gonna move me. I gotta be happy. I gotta make sure my wife is taken care of. I don't want to leave my grandkids and my mom and dad. So it has to be a perfect situation. But right now, I can't even think about a college job, man, because Jacksonville treated me so good, man. Like I didn't realize I was in hell last year until I got to heaven this year.
Right.
Although I appreciate hell because it made me really appreciate heaven. I thank God I went through that so that I can be where I am now.
Two more personal questions that I want to that's not professional. These are personal questions. What's your hobby? What do you do to enjoy when you're not coaching kids? What does Coach Swinton do as a hobby? What do you enjoy doing?
If I have time, fishing.
You like to fish?
I love to fish. Yeah, I love to fish, man.
Yeah. I ask the mayor this. I ask a lot of judges this. If I was to hook your Apple Play phone up and play the music that Coach Swinton likes to listen to, what is Coach Swinton riding to and listening to in his vehicle on the way to and from school? What kind of music do you like, Coach?
Man, I'm like the biggest R. Kelly fan, Keith Sweat fan, Silk, Black.
So you're R&B guy then? You're R&B, no rap.
Well, I mean, you know,
who's your favorite rapper? Who's your favorite rapper?
Oh, Tupac and 8-Ball MJG.
Okay. So you old school. School. Okay.
I can't get all that new bibbity. I can't do all that, man. You know, the Amigos, what are they called? I can't get into all of that, man.
Well, I got one more video that I want to show. It's a little long, but I think it's the Titan Rebuild video that I want to show. It's a little long, but I think it's worth showing, and then we're gonna come back, and we'll wrap our conversation up. Okay, here we go.
Right.
And with change comes challenges. Challenges that test us, shape us, and force us to grow in strength, in character, and in resilience through adversity. This is Titans Rebuilt. A journey of defying the odds, of erasing the shadows of a recent history that has haunted this program for years. It's the day-by-day grind of building a new mindset, one that overcomes complacency, rejects mediocrity, and refuses to settle for anything less than greatness.
Come out here and you look the same. Them jerseys look good on y'all. In fact, it makes some of y'all look better. Some of y'all know how y'all look. Okay? All right? Coach, y'all good?
No. I told y'all yesterday about Dragonfly. I need everybody at 100%. If you're not at 100%, you're not going to practice. It's just that simple.
This is a new era, and what makes this so different is the kids are loving coming every day. They're having fun, and they're building a closer bond. That when you have that close bond, it makes you want to fight hard for each other, and it makes you want to win, and you believe you can win when you have that closeness, that oneness of a brotherhood. Mason Ball get an Ole Miss offer and now he hurt. Get an Ole Miss offer, now you hurt.
Hey, don't forget the Sports Illustrated writer.
Oh, yeah. You can't give Mason no press.
I wouldn't want to be nowhere else but on this field putting in work. That's all it
Oh yeah, the weight room is my love and my passion. This is sanctuary. If you follow me on any type of social media, I'm always talking about the weight room because this is where the dedication, this is what a football program needs.
In the middle, we got low rolls, and we got those neck machines over there. Make sure we tackle those neck machines. All right? And then over here, we got dips and curls. All right, listen.
I mean, it teaches you how to be structured, as the kids said. The weight room will bring out the dog in you.
Let's go! He's going!
Being strong and being physical, it starts in the weight room. And it starts in the summer. Nutrition is a very important factor to the weight room. We try to instill that into the kids. And during the summertime, we provide them with food before and after workout. And we also require them to have a shaker because we provide them protein.
Okay, my name is Antoine Humbert. I'm from Jacksonville, Arkansas, Bethel Assembly, and today I am preaching my sermon. It's called Addiction.
Coach Reggie said it's a new era, and it is, not for the team, but for me as a minister in training.
Addiction. What do you think when you hear the word addiction? The junkie on the street, the alcoholic. The word addiction pulls at a very emotion of different people in different ways. Maybe you're a recovery, maybe your loved one's recovery, and you walk that hard, long road with them.
Most recently, I had preached at Orlando, Florida, and Nationals. I preached my sermon. I did more skits, but my sermon was some list. I preached about addiction, cause addiction start when you was a kid. Cause addiction is the biggest thing in here. Some people are addicted to your phone. Some people addicted to drugs. Some people addicted to phone. It's a lot of addictions. And where I was trying to go is a lot of people have lost God. And some people in addiction, some people lost a lot of people, a lot of dead people. And they use drugs to cope with it. Weed, vapes, all that. And I needed to preach that.
In John 10:10, the thief comes only steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come that they may have life and life more abundantly. Jesus is the answer.
The takeaways from this past Friday versus Central was that one thing I found out is that these kids gonna fight. These kids ain't gonna quit. They're gonna find a way to be resilient and continue to fight to that last horn sounds. And that's something that's been different, that hasn't been going on around here in the past. And so just knowing that these kids are believing and these seniors know that they have a chance to go out as winners is making those guys go even harder. So as a head coach, I'm certainly proud of what we're seeing with this staff and with these coaches, and the fans were awesome Friday night, and we can't do this without them.
Hey man, listen, I want to read a couple of more comments. CC McDowell saying, I'm so proud of my friend. We love Reggie Swinton. He get on our nerves sometimes. Monty and saying, but it's always Tiger Pride. Reggie, what conference are you guys in? 5A?
5A Central, yes.
5A Central. What's your prediction for the rest of the season? Your record? How are you going to finish? And what's your predicting of how long it will take you to get that team to a championship game? Those two questions.
I think we'll end up with probably 3 or 4 losses.
Okay.
I think we'll make the playoffs. Well, no, I know we're making the playoffs, and I think we'll be in championship game next year. I think we're gonna make some noise this year. People gonna know we're there. We're not a surprise anymore.
5A, who are you guys in 5A with? Name some teams you guys are in the 5A with, the toughest components in the 5A.
Joe T. Robinson, Maumelle. We got BB, Searcy, Whitehall, Pine Bluff, and Watson Chapel.
Okay. Go ahead and take the time out before we leave to shout out some of your players. I know you talked about one of your players that got some offers. Go ahead and take some opportunity to shout out some of your players of the team.
Well, I want to shout out first my coaching staff, man, because people look at me as the face and say, oh, man, Reggie can coach. No, this staff can coach. These guys do a great job of getting prepared for the games and getting these kids ready. And, I appreciate them. But, yeah, Mason Ball Mason been playing for me since he was 5 years old.
Right.
And he's played every year of his life with me except for 2 years. And he's definitely the face of our football team with major offers: Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi. Ole Miss, from Vanderbilt, Purdue, Arkansas State, Oklahoma. I'm leaving some off, man. But he's definitely our face. And then you got, Matthew Goldsberry with some offers. And then you got our offensive line, man. Like Jaden Walters is one of the best offensive linemen, I think, in 5A. We got a sophomore guy, Breon Hammonds, who's going to be really, really big for us. And, our seniors, man, we're trying to get our seniors to just lead. And they're trying to figure it out, man. Torrey Trotter is one of the best linebackers in 5A, and he's getting looks right now, man. So our team is really, really coming along. And what the crazy part about it, Level, is that these were the same kids from last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just, if you ball, I'm going to call. And they balling, so I'm calling.
Well, I always end my interviews with letting the interview person, ask me a question. So what question do you have for me? You could ask any, and no questions is off limit. Give me a question and I'll answer right on the spot.
All right. Going back to, remember in 2006 when you came to me about when University Mall was still up? You remember that?
Right.
And we was trying to get that club on the mall, and they shut it down.
Right.
What made you continue to be an entrepreneur, going from the club business to doing what you're doing to the podcast? What got you in all of that?
Man, I was just made to lead. God made some people to be workers. God made some people to be leaders. I was just made to lead. I told a story, and you're going to think it's crazy, but I have this thing that I do on Fridays where I do story time. And my story time last Friday was how I got out of the game. People, a lot of people know my past, where I was raised in Highland Court, call myself being in the drug game, and how I got out. God has blessed me so much. He has blessed my life. But in everything that I've touched, I was successful in it. Even in the drug game, I was successful. But I always knew that I did want to work for people. And I still carry a full-time job now. So I have no knock on people that work for people, because I still work for some people. But I always want to teach my children that you have to make your own way. That when someone, here's the deal. I was looking at something where Jimmy Kimmel, I saw that today, where Jimmy Kimmel, they suspended his network. They suspended his show because he said something about the Charlie Kirk deal. And so I've always wanted to be where nobody can control my destination, right? You can't fire me. And the only way to not be fired is to work for yourself, be an entrepreneur. So, I've been told, just like you, I've been told no 100 times, but I always try to figure out a way to turn my no's into yeses. And, I just think that now I still carry a full-time job, but there's no payment in the world like signing your own check and working for your own self. And so I just believe that entrepreneurship is just my blood.
But you know what's crazy you say that, because Forest City was my first real job since I retired. I've always worked for me. Had my detail shop,
right,
my lawn care company, 501 Records. I've always wrote my own paycheck. So the few times they reprimanded me in Forest City, it was because I just did things without asking, because I've never had to ask anybody.
Right.
I've always just made the decisions. People had to ask me what to do. I didn't have to ask what to do. And so that was my biggest hiccup in becoming, a teacher and a coach in the corporate world, was asking permission to do something that just makes sense.
Right. Got one more comment. Salute B Level. Thank God for the growth. Thank you, Monty. And let me just say this. I asked you one other question. He said, I've been respecting you, bro. Hashtag 501. Reggie, I knew that when you went down to Forest City, man, it was just something about, I have never seen your Arkansas Lightning organization, but I knew that everything. I knew what type of person you was. You was not a quitter. I know you had been through a lot professionally. And after I started just following your movement, I said to myself, I got to get him on the platform, because he is an extraordinary person doing extraordinary things. You fit the mold of the people that I want to talk to. Your drive is impeccable. The way I wanted, I asked you, I said, Reggie, which one of them games you wanted me to come see? Because I wanted to see your interaction with the kids. They respect you. They love you. And when these kids love and respect you, they'll go through a brick wall for you, bro. And I seen the love being sidelined close to you. I seen the love and the respect they have for you and your coaching staff. So big up to your coaching staff for doing it. And you saying next year, ain't no telling how y'all might finish this year. Y'all might be in the championship this year. You don't know what God has in store for you guys.
It's a possible, but the kids gotta learn how to win consistently, not go up and down. And so that's the biggest thing. Hey, look, I got to mention something else too. My wife is into the dance. She was a dancer. She was on the UAPD Golden Girls and the Golden Lions, right? The Golden Girls, yeah. And she started the stand dance team in Forest City, which is now still going on. She's also now the new dance teacher at Jacksonville. She had tryouts a week and a half ago, had 43 girls there. She named them girls the Titan Crown Elite Dance Team, and they'll be performing for the first time at homecoming this year, and them girls gonna be looking good. They'll do stand dance October 10th, but the following week is homecoming. You gotta come see them girls, man. She gonna have them right.
What day is that, Swinton?
October 17th.
October 17th.
Them girls gonna be and our band is tops in the state now. Roger Moore is like an HBCU band director. So when you put him, together with my wife and her dance skills and her team, I might even skip halftime myself in the locker room and be out there to watch that.
I'm gonna put it on my schedule. Is that your place, Jacksonville?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, I'm coming back. I'm gonna come back. Tell Patricia I'm gonna come back and watch what she got with those young ladies. I'm gonna come back on the 17th and support you guys on the 17th. Man, hey, listen, bro. I'm a fan of your work. I'm a fan of your kids. I'm a fan of your coaches. and I'm a fan of you, bro. So listen, much love, much respect. I'm only a phone call away. Anything you need to be publicized, hey, bro, you got the number. Hit me up, and I'm gonna make sure it happen for you, bro.
B-Love, I appreciate you having me on, man. I thank you, man. I love you, brother, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Any last words before we go, bro?
Tighten up.
Tighten up. Tighten up. I was getting ready to say that, man. You have a good night, Swintown.
You too.
Oh, okay, boss.
All right, later.
All right, y'all. That was the conversation between Reggie Swinton, the head coach of Jacksonville Titan High School football coach. Listen, don't forget this Friday, 12 noon, Straight Talk, No Chaser is where I do story time. I do my story time on Friday. I tell situations about me, everything that's going on. It's on Friday at 12 noon. Friday at 12 noon. Lock your box. I'm coming to you on Sunday. Don't forget about Sunday, 7 p.m. We have the whole crew. Andrea, Candy, Tristan, Anthony, and Jayla with the T, the whole crew on the podcast on Sunday, UTB, Unpacking the Baggage podcast, every Sunday at 7 p.m. Then on next week, and I don't know if I have the flyer up here. Let me see if I still have the flyer here. I don't. Next Wednesday, we have Bishop Stephen Arnold will be on the Level with B-Level. We will continue to talk to extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. So we will have conversation next Wednesday at 7:30. Bishop Stephen Arnold. I want to say happy birthday. Shout out to my nephew, Ryan. Today, he's celebrating his birthday. I'm coming to have a drink with your brother tonight. And listen, don't forget, Friday, 12 noon. Okay, Friday, 12 noon. Friday, 12 noon. And like always, we will see you on the next time, the same bat time, same bat channel. Good night, y'all.
Had another rough conversation with the voices in